Yannick is here, and in today's video I'm on a mission to seek out lore in InZOI by looking into all of the premade families before starting to play for real. I'm curious as to how they approach the premade families. I like TS2 stories even if going crazy over premates made me burn out on them. I don't expect stories on this level of crazy as I think many of them would not pass, especially with the Strange Town. Let's start with Dowon. I have really high expectations for this city as they are a Korean company, so it should be well represented here. Bliss Bay, I feel like it might be a bit different from the real life US cities. In Dowon there's 10 families with bios, 6 of them are moved in. Overall I found some interesting bios some families have none, and I assume they are townies. I'm intrigued by the Lee family. Why there's a he in the description? A perfectionist who wants to succeed, so in my opinion it's what the description was talking about. She likes running and vegetables, so I'd give her a point for liking something with sense. Lee. Living independently in a space of your own seems exciting, and Jin Lee thought the same when she first moved to Dowon. Signing the lease for her small but cozy studio apartment felt like a fresh start, but life in Dowon began to feel incredibly difficult as Jin's savings started to dwindle while she struggled to find a job. Now she questions how much longer she can endure these circumstances. I've checked in and I think they used the wrong pronouns in the bio. She dozed on in the city. But wait. It said she likes jogging, but her ambition mentions yoga. Apartment matched the description. Struggles with job also does, even if it's probably an accident. Park. Chul Su lives with his overbearing mother, longing for a different life. Dwelling on his past regrets might be futile, yet he can't help but look back. Having lost both a close friend and a chance at marrying his longtime partner because of his mother's interference, he now finds himself wondering how his life might have turned out had he made different choices. Wanted a more sincere conversation, but only ended up feeling awkward and hurt. Noticed they no longer laughed or responded properly to my words, leaving me with the sinking feeling of feeling shut out. Their house is so small, and why there's a bed in the living room? They need to add a couch that's like 2 in 1. Park Family has a bio full of unfulfilled drama potential. He knows none, and if they add memories, they could expand on his life a little. His mom can pass as an order-loving person, but I wouldn't make her a volunteer if she's known for choosing friends for her son. Cheerful person doesn't fit for her. Her son makes more sense with desire to be respected. It's kinda sweet he wants to find love and safety. Their dynamic is quite awkward, I see. Kim. A loving mother struggles to raise her greedy elder son and straight-laced younger son, both full of wants and cravings. Their home is small and money is tight, making the challenge even greater. Despite these hardships, she is determined to raise her sons right. Will her love be enough for the brothers to grow up happy and bright? The relationship numbers for everyone in town are just default. I see a hint of a struggling single mother. I can see the volunteer trait and family devotion there. She just has things to hate. Greedy elder? When he is just a child? The oldest child is said to be more rebellious, he is impulsive and individualist. That's cute that the younger one wants attention from his family, but he likes laundry. Are you sure about that? Their relationship is not existent and she's another jobless girlie. I've noticed that she's graduated uni, so the higher education is a part of the base game, it seems. Their house is small, but it's not the worst. I thought they would get max 2 bedrooms. Hwang. This couple believed material wealth was all that mattered, but only emptiness remains now that they've achieved their goals. In their twilight years, their luxurious home feels hollow with no one to share it with. And even each other's company is no longer enough. How can they make their remaining years truly meaningful? It's funny how she writes like this to her husband. But hey, older people in my life usually know how to use a smartphone. Still, it would be funny if they couldn't. Is this a phantom relationship here? No face, nothing? Those child-free elders are set up for life. The only thing Jean so loves is taking a bath. He just wants to bath and be romantic with his partner. I've expected him to have more hobbies. I think traits and desired lifestyle could relate to the way they've been living. She's an interesting character, also chill, desiring success and prestige it seems. Hates cleaning, they would definitely have a maid. Anyway, the apartment fits to them being wealthy and alone. A huge place. Elders are struggling to walk. I like the existing details. A family of foreigners who suddenly showed up one day in Dowon. The parents have a deep interest in art and a sharp eye for cultural relics, while their 2 children, who closely resemble their attractive parents, are adored wherever they go. But something about this family is amiss. Why did they come to Dowon? And where does their wealth come from? Why are Martins so wealthy? They are unemployed, so inheritance maybe? A very drama-free household. They are described as artists, but nothing highlights that. Maybe Sophia likes singing, Emily is artistic and sociable. This newborn hates washing cars, fine. They have more preferences. I see relationships in the family start from nothing, but they have some friends outside of family. Why does the newborn know a random stranger? I've noticed that they don't utilize in Dowon some in-between age groups like they were added after they created the families. And Martins remind me a bit of the Goff family, but they keep 3 children in one room. The relationship with each other is weird. Like they wouldn't have time for kids, but they have nothing else to do? What? Have they been spending the last 7 years in jail to avoid responsibility for children? Schedule empty. Goddamn, he rejected a kiss from his wife. Lee. Even the most mundane scenery takes on a unique beauty through the lens of his camera. He dreams of capturing the majesty of various cities, perhaps holding an exhibition in their honor someday. But saving up for his travel is no easy feat, and despite his best attempts, life rarely goes as planned. What path will his future take? He already knows 2 people and lives in a decent condo with a ladder. He should have an easel or more paintings. Oh, an actual clear description of him. He's an artist to the core. The cleaning ambition is weird and sticks out. Kim. This odd couple started living together to ease the burden of rent costs, despite having complete opposite personalities and preferences. In another life, they might never have crossed paths, but spending time together in the same home for so long seems to have left its mark on them both. Will this unlikely pair come to understand each other's lifestyles, and will their differences drive them further apart? Mismatched roommates is how I like to call them, but they are not that different, except they have opposite views on singing, boxing and spicy food. Maybe they would argue about music all the time. Park. Born into a loving and affluent family, Ji-woo is the beating heart of the Park family. Both her father, the talented businessman Jeo Park, and her mother, the charismatic career woman Gaeon-han, are utterly powerless in the face of her demands, sometimes even to the point of putting their livelihoods on hold. Though the Parks might refuse to admit it, perhaps this dynamic is what truly makes them a warm and loving family. In the bio of Park Family number 2, there's another mistake. I think the name translation of their son is wrong, but I don't speak Korean, so I'm not sure. Parks are one of the families where they care about what the others think of them. And that's interesting that their son seems less serious, but not extremely a risky one. I could imagine a storyline where he tries to break out of the norm and become some sort of artist. Richardson. Hailing from Bliss Bay, Stephanie fell in love with Dowon after visiting Olim Temple during a business trip. She enjoys listening to the stories of ordinary people and never turns a blind eye to injustice. What new scoops await Erin Dowon? Song. A dapper old gentleman who goes out on walks frequently. He offers a warm greeting to everyone he meets, perhaps to keep his loneliness at bay. Rumor has it that he was left behind after the departure of his wife, but only the Song family knows the real story. What secrets beneath the solitude of this seemingly lonely old man? Don't bin families. Another chill older guy. Now I've noticed that he and Yoon from Bliss Bay share their life goals, and they would definitely be a canon pairing if they were neighbors. I've had my questions answered in Dowon. It has some small lore potential with families, but I'm disappointed by the lack of relationships between Zois or even skills. At least they have some preferences at the start. I hope they will fix the dynamic soon. In Bliss Bay there's 10 families with bios. 5 of them are moved in, the rest are townies. Collins have my attention. I have to say, the Bliss Bay families are way more interesting. I expected it to be the other way around. There's a same-sex premade couple, just one. Collins. They were young, in love, and certain they had found their perfect partner. Soon after, joy came knocking. Hazel was pregnant. However, what they didn't see coming was 3 babies, not one. Since then, Matthew and Hazel have been fighting daily battles with bottles, diapers, and sleepless nights. The babies are the greatest source of joy, but this life is no walk in the park. How long will the chaos last? He wants respect and is said to be kind-hearted. He wants to coexist with the nature or maybe with their triplets. The only thing she likes is washing cars. I don't judge. Creativity but yoga but knowledge but rules, very inconsistent personality. A jack of all trades or something else. Hate for buffing is understandable. My family has an inside joke about a childhood situation when, after listening how my cousin was forced to bath, I was screaming, "Don't peel us from skin." I don't get why the infants know they are hating something. Maybe it's gonna be about talents? It seems like no one has a job. How they are going to afford living? Of course they don't talk to each other. The details in their home. It really looks messy with the fresh parent not knowing what to do. Don't tell me one of the children has an entire living room for herself. Great TV show you got there. Yes, great parenting. Yoon. Everyone dreams of a fresh start at least once in their life, and the Yoon family was no exception. They were certain that Bliss Bay would be the perfect place for their new beginning. But the coastal city awaiting them across the sea was far from ideal. Everything, from the flood and language to the culture, felt foreign, and they soon realized that the only ones they could rely on were each other. Yoon family is interesting. They are supposed to be broke. Father doesn't work, but he's a good guy at least. Mom is cute and doesn't want much in life. Their son wants pleasure and popularity. Oh, a pretty, relatable one. You know what you could do? Get a job like 2% of Zoe's. You don't need a nanny. They live in a small apartment. Oh damn, one kid shares room with the parents. And they are staring awkwardly at each other. Williams. Terry always boasts about the significance of his family's legacy in Bliss Bay, but the only evidence he has to back his claims is a couple of photos and some old furniture. As such, his neighbors and even his children and grandchildren rarely give his words much credence. Is the Williams family as storied as Terry claims, or is this merely a tale that has grown taller with time? Williams don't have that much of a relationship between them. We don't have in-laws, it seems. Ryan has a potential to be a rebel, so it's not a boring family. There is a gardener. Miles is a traditionalist, but he likes to clean and eat fast food. Rebecca needs help and she loves baths. Brandon wants rich romantic life but also be a scholar. Charlotte hates meat. There is an illusion of traffic, well done. He has some relationship with his brother. Yeah, they look really good. Murphy. Nathan was living alone after his divorce when he received shocking news. His ex-wife had died unexpectedly and her new husband had given up custody of their son Lucas. After being reunited for the first time since birth, the two struggled to adjust to each other. However, they slowly began to realize that they truly are father and son. Bit by bit, they've started to grow close. Nate likes to be challenged. Be rich, smart, and raise a child in the meantime. child that doesn't like coffee, but I don't think it's a safe drink for them. At least he has a childhood friend. Does anyone in this town hold a job? I love their living room. Again, single father struggling. They look similar. Again, a huge potential for memories. Abbott. The Abbott family are a family led by a patriarch who lives a life of partying and glamour while his two daughters live under his shadow. They appear happy and well off on the surface, but beneath it all, Jessica suffers from anxiety and compulsions, while Olivia remains estranged from her father. Can Steve's wealth and power bring true happiness to this family, or will it only deepen the cracks between them? Abbott family is also an interesting one. Steve is a college graduate too. A fun guy but very inconsistent. Jessica wants both adventure and family. Olivia is mostly into romance. They are supposed to be different from each other. I like that their looks are the opposite of the sister's personality. Jessica seems chill, but Olivia would definitely have more fun in life. Oh boy, they are loaded with 3 floors in their home. There are jumps in what is supposed to be Jessica's room, but she hates those? Why? Olivia's room also doesn't reflect on her personality that much. They are writing under the table so they won't copy each other, I think. For a moment I thought they are premades but because she's Hailey Barber, but it's just a coincidence. Now I've noticed Hailey Barber, does it ring a bell for you? We have been families left from Bliss Bay. Cooper. At first glance, David's blunt demeanor might make us seem like Alexia is the one leading him around, but in reality he's completely smitten with her. How deep is his love? Well, let's just say he now even tags along to charity events he once had no interest in, all thanks to his kind-hearted wife. He's not one for grand displays of affection in public, but their love has always burned passionately, so much that they found themselves expecting a child even before tying the knot. What kind of family will they build together? Cooper family is inconsistent. They had a child before getting married, but it's not possible for now, which is weird and is one of the reasons I'm putting a family gameplay on hold. Sometimes I miss ACR going crazy with 20% chance of pregnancy. And they look boring. They look like what seems to devs think perfect chemistry is. He's a knowledge, she's a family. Goodman. Rumor has it that Eric Goodman was detained at the police station for a disgraceful incident. In reality, he was only there a few times at the behest of an officer friend, using his exceptional handiwork to make some repairs. But people tend to hear only what they want to and believe what they choose. Unbeknownst to him, Eric goes about his life without a clue that such rumors are spreading. How did his life turn into something straight out of the sitcom? Goodman is creative with a musical side and a book lover side. Young. Years after graduating from the same high school, Monica and Frida are reunited in a romantic hotel lounge where, as if drawn by fate, they begin a torrid romance. Without a moment's hesitation, they decided to build a life together, and thought their personalities clash at times. Their deep understanding for each is more than enough to make up for it. As they dream of a grand wedding together, what does the future have in store for this devoted couple?
What does the future have in store for this devoted couple?
Choi. After spending a lifetime in Dowon, Yoon's Choi didn't want their final years to pass by quietly, even choosing to abandon her original name for a fresh start. It seems she has a dream worth leaving her past behind for. But is this dream solely for herself, or is there someone else she's chasing it for? Yoon seeks pleasure, yoga and friends, and I think her goals are similar to that elder from Dowon we've mentioned earlier. So to summarize this one up, I think I'm surprised that those families have some sort of story started, but you can see the difference between Dowon and Bliss Bay, and that they had some changes in directions when creating a second town. Since they have more history, the one thing I don't like are family relations, and I hope it's gonna be worked on with time. Since it's weird that everybody starts at zero, they also need to get some jobs, because why everybody's unemployed? It doesn't make that much sense for me. I also wished there were some relations between Zois living in a city. Like, they shouldn't look like newbies there. Another thing I've discovered in Dowon is that you don't have some age groups yet. I really like that in Bliss Bay their houses tell some sort of story about the family. Like, we have parents who don't know what to do, their house is messy, and child doesn't have a room. Or they are broke, so their apartment is small. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it or listened to me while working.